الكتاب والحكمة ويزكيهم إنك أنت العزيز الحكيم.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Mariam Uwutonde. Welcome to another exciting episode on the message this beautiful Jumat. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. We thank Almighty Allah for sparing our lives to today. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. May we continue to have reasons to praise, worship, and thank Almighty Allah. Amen. As you all know that the message is a program dedicated to dismantling doubts and nurturing convictions by addressing relevant topics affecting today's society. This lectures offers our conscious minds ways to address our soul properly according to the Holy Quran. Islam is a religion of peace, tranquility, and psychological calm. We only be achieved by believing in Almighty Allah. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. We thank Almighty Allah for making us a Muslim and a practicing one at that. May we continue to be so. Amen. On today's episode, yes, I have a very, very important guest with me here, and I'm sure you are going to know him by the time I introduce him to all our amazing viewers at home. Yes, he is here with us in the studio, and the topic we are discussing is the significance of name in Islam. That is what we are going to be discussing on today's episode. We will be right back after this short break.
وارنا مناسكنا وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم ربنا وابعث فيهم رسولا منهم يتلو عليهم آياتك ويعلمهم الكتاب والحكمة ويزكيهم إنك أنت العزيز الحكيم.
Welcome back. You are just joining us on the message this beautiful Jumat. Like I said earlier, that we have our guest in the studio with us here, and I know you've been seeing him, yes, because he is the one we usually use his musical break. Yes, we use his works when we go on musical break on our episode, and he is here with us in the studio. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thanks for joining us on today's episode.
You're welcome.
Can you please introduce yourself to the viewers at home?
To our viewers at home, my name is Messagei On Osbc, popularly known as Bonallah.
Thanks for joining us on today's episode.
Thank you very much.
Like I said earlier, that the topic we are going to be discussing is the significance of name in Islam. What is the significance of name in Islam?
Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. Name or naming is very important in Islam because it is something that we use to identify something.
Okay.
Like places, events, and human and personalities.
Okay.
We can make reference to Quran chapter 2 verse 30.
Okay.
The name is something that gives Adam, the father of mankind, the superiority over angels. In the chapter 2 verse 30, Allah says, "Ba'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Wa 'allama Adama al-asma'a kullaha, thumma a'radahum 'ala al-malaika, faqala anbi'uni bi asma'i ha'ula'i in kuntum sadiqin." And Allah said, we have already give Adam knowledge about the name of some things.
Okay.
So and he later threw it to the angels that mention the names of these things if what you are saying about humankind is the truth. Because humankind has already been arguing with Allah that they are superior than human being. But by the usage of name, Allah make Adam superior over them. Allah has already taught Adam some names about some things. So and he later asked that mention name of this thing that I put down if you are sure that you are superior to Adam. So then they cannot mention it. They say la ilma lana illa ma alamtana. That is by making names on some things, either human being or things. Allah used to give human being knowledge about it because we have sense that is superior than angels. So from that sense, that is how we make use of names, because the angels, they don't know how to give themselves names. the genes, they don't know how to give themselves names. It is only human being knows
that has that knowledge.
That has knowledge of how to give names, and it is knowledge that Allah taught Adam that generated to all of us that we are
having names
today. So it is very important. Name is very important. Now, if you want to identify a town, is by name.
Yes.
And identify a place is by name. Human being by names, different names.
Yes.
So that is very important and significant to Islam, which nobody can question Allah about the knowledge that Allah has already given us to know how to make names.
Thank you very much, sir. Does one's names affect one's lives?
It does.
Even in the Holy Quran.
In the Holy Quran and the Hadith and the Aqwal Salaf. There are a story about Ali, part of Sahaba. A man came to him and told him that my son is offending me and contradicting my rules. So when Ali invited the son, he told the father that my father has already offended me earlier before I started offending him. How? He said, when you want to give me name, when you want to do my naming, when I was young, when I was born, he named me Jola. That is like for example, I say Forifogu or some name like that. He said that name has been impacting me since he was born, and now he started misbehaving. And Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "An Husina is mahu." Part of the responsibility of a parent is to give their child a good name, beautiful names. So that is the part of first responsibility of a parent over a child. So it has impact and effect on individual.
Allah Akbar. May Almighty Allah continue to be sufficient for us all. You can hear from our guest. He said when we have child or children, we should know the kind of names we give them, because Yoruba people will say Oruko Omo, Lomaru Omo. Let's remember, and we should have this. We should not forget to always give our children good names. May Almighty Allah continue to make it easy on us all. Amen. How does one give a name in Islam? Is it according to the day the person is born, or is it according to the circumstances surrounding him? Because I know in Yoruba land, some give names according to what happened at that particular time that child is being born. Does it apply to that in the Holy Quran?
It is not compulsory, because we join civility and morality together.
Okay.
When somebody is civilized, he or she can like to bring a beautiful name or a name that can be simply pronounced.
Okay.
So that is why some people bring in some names which doesn't have good meaning.
Okay.
But there are some names that people mentioned, that people name their children, that even contradict their destiny. Like somebody who is calling who born a child or a female child now, and name it Simbiat.
Okay.
So Simbiat is the meaning directly in Arabic language from the linguistics is Vihibat.
Okay.
Vihibat, we call it Ikoko in Yoruba. So instead of naming it Sebiha, Sebiha is the correct pronunciation.
Instead of Simbiat.
So Simbiat is the same thing as female. What do we call it? Ikoko. So Sebihat is somebody who is glorifying Allah. So if I call somebody Sebihat, she can start behaving like Ikoko. Now, you born a child, you named her Ramiat instead of Rodia. Okay. So you should learn how to pronounce language before you give names. If you say Ramiat, Rally bicycle is Ramiat bicycle. So
and there different kind of people bear their name.
So instead of Rodia, you name him Ramiat.
So Rodia is the
correct name. So some people name their children Laisi instead of Abdul Aziz. So all these names directly bring different. That is why you see some Muslim children doing abnormal things, because the name is like a prayer And we have two types of prayer. A prayer that in form of cursing somebody, and prayer in form of
praying for that person.
Praying for that person. So if you started cursing your child from childhood, so it will have impact on the child. So people should be conscious of name they mentioned. So now, and we have nicknames. So there is Islam accept if you have a good nicknames.
Okay.
In the hadith now, somebody we call him Abu Huraira. Okay. Abu Huraira means the father of cats.
Okay.
So it means that the person used to carry cats along wherever he goes. Okay. So they nicknamed him Abu Huraira because of the cat he used to carry.
Okay.
So if you are calling somebody Yalate, so it is Islamic. It is acceptable in Islam like that, but it should have a good meaning.
Okay.
So not name that is causing the person that bears the name. The name you are carrying is like a prayer or curse on your head. Myself now, I am Masaud. Masaud. Somebody will say Mashihud.
And some will even say Mashudi.
Mashudi. So if you are calling Mashudi, Mashudi means somebody who hates. Mahasud, who hates somebody who hates another person. But Masaud, somebody who is successful. Allah. So I being a clerical father that my father is, he has been one. People don't call my son another, and don't change the meaning of my son's name. Make sure you are calling him Masaud. So Masaud means somebody who is successful. So now everybody will be calling it. And the prayer will be on the head of the person that is bearing the name. If they name you Said, instead of calling Saidi. So call the meaning entirely. And the people who started misbehaving. You might see a Muslim son, doing conductor, doing children, doing so many bad things like that.
And
so I know what is happening. So it is because of the name they are calling them. So people have to be very, very cautious about it. And we should very cautious again about civility in naming our children.
That we should not copy other people's culture. We don't even know what it's all about.
Exactly. So some people name their children some English name that's related with Arab. There is a person that named a child, I forgot the name, and he said Fatia. He said some people name their children Cynthia. So these are gross mistake from them. Fatia has no meaning. In Islam, Fatiha is what we call it, Fatiha.
No Fatia.
And not Fatia. So people used to make a series of mistakes in mentioning names. So if you want to be Fatiha, be Fatiha. There is nothing like Fatia. There is nothing like Cynthia. So they think they are civilized and they are making mistakes. Eventually, the name will become a cog in the wheel of their progress in future.
Thank you very much, sir. So all our viewers at home, if you've been listening to our guest, he said we should be intentional about name we call ourselves, especially. And another thing I want to tell viewers at home is when we name a child a particular name, you should endeavor to tell that child the meaning of that name, so that when others are calling that child the name his or her parents did not name him or her, the child will be able to correct that person that no, this is not the meaning of my name, this is how it's being pronounced. And please, let's make conscious effort. Those that have the habit at home, that you have this habit of calling others the name they don't bear, when they tell you peacefully or they correct you that this is not my name, please, let's take to correction. Don't feel that is what I will call you and you must answer. No, you can't do that to people. Please, may Almighty Allah continue to make it easy.
Before we do this chapter, there's something that's very common in the society.
Okay.
They used to call Kasim. In Surah Yusuf, Faruwa Kazim, that is somebody is very angry.
That's the meaning.
That's the meaning. It is causing. It is causing. So you say Kazim.
What's the meaning of causing?
Causing somebody that has his own share of Almighty, I share something with. So it will be sharing benefit of Allah peace of Allah, and so many good things that Allah has. So when you say Tazim, the person will just be angry all the time.
Your minds are continuing to have mercy on us. This is a very, very interesting episode and topic at that. We that are at home, we should look into it. Yes, let's make conscious effort to correct this name. That is going to bring us to you. You know, when you introduce yourself, you say your name is Asidunallah.
Yes.
How do you come about that name?
Yes, that's very fine. My name is my surname is Abdugeni,
okay,
and my first name is Maseod.
Okay.
So now Abdugeni, somebody richness of Allah.
Okay.
Who tap from the richness of Allah, from the richness of Almighty Allah.
Okay.
Must somebody who is successful. As long as Allah is sufficient for us. So that is my nickname.
Okay.
So Allah is sufficient for us in everything we do.
Definitely.
So that, I told me about this name when I started growing up, and I see
the blessings of
Almighty Allah in everything I do. So I know that this is sufficiency of Allah. So and I carry the nickname on my head that Asbunallah. Allah is sufficient. For anybody can bear any nickname that is meaningful. You know, if you say Muhammad Aminu, Muhammad Aminu, Muhammad that is trustworthy. So the Aminu is nickname.
Okay.
So majority of prophets, they have their nicknames. If you say Nuh, Ibrahim, the Bihullah, Ibrahim, the one who slaughters for Allah, the Bihu is his nicknames, like other prophets also. Musa, Kalimullah, yes, who talks to Allah. Kalimullah there is a nickname. Everybody can have nicknames, but when it is meaningful, it is good to go.
Thank you very much, sir. Sir, you are a reciter. You recite the Holy Quran. Yes. What? I know you've recited different surahs, pages, verses in the Holy Quran.
Yes.
What have you been? When you hold the Holy Quran and you've been reciting, have you come across something that you saw and you were wowed? So this thing is inside the Holy Quran.
In fact, that's a very good question. Firstly, I started my career with songs. I used to sing. There was a song that introduced me to environment. Okay. I call it destiny. That is why I call it they used to play it at your station here. Okay. So let's put that one aside. I used to recite Quran lately, and I used to do so many production on Quranic recitation until I have my own personal voice of reciting it. Okay. We have Adabiya, we have Marikazi, we have so many different voices of that. I have my own Masaudi, my own Quran recitation from is Masaudi. Okay. It goes like this. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. One day I was reading Al-Quran. I saw a verse in Surah to Israel. Okay. Maybe like verse Surah to Israel chapter 18. Okay. So I saw a verse there which says Yawma tuqallabu wujuhum fi nari yaquluna ya laitana atwana Allah wa atwana rasula inna atwana sadatana wa kubarana fadoluna sabila. One day is coming, the day of judgment, when Allah will decide and finalize judgment on some children that they will enter hellfire. They will say that Allah, don't let us enter this hellfire, but if you decided that we are to enter it, let our parents enter it first. Allahu Akbar. Allah will ask them why. They will say that we should have followed you, we should have followed the Holy Prophet, but we followed our parents and they misled us. Rabbana atihim difaini min al-adhabi. Oh Allah, give them double of our punishment today. They have already known that they will enter this hellfire due to a judgment, but let our parents have the double of our judgment. So that verse amazes me, and whenever I read it, sometimes I used to cry, because your responsibility is not limited to yourself. You should be extended to your family, so your children, whatever error that your children make through your error of omission, we have error of omission and commission. Error of omission is that what you're supposed to have done and you left it undone. So it means you are going to be punished for error of omission over your children. So that are the part of verses that amazes me and make somebody who think deep cry about the responsibility as a parent over children.
Thank you very much, and thanks for joining us on today's episode. We really appreciate your presence, and we've learned a lot. You said the children are going to say Almighty Allah should give them the punishment.
Double of their punishment.
Is Almighty Allah going to oblige them?
Yes, definitely.
This makes us to talk to our parents at home that we should be intentional about parenting. You know, I've always been saying it, that as parents we should be intentional. Don't just wake up one morning and say you are ready to be a parent and that is it. Let's endeavor to know the do's and don'ts. Apart from what is in this world, even in the year after, we are going to be accountable for it. May Almighty Allah continue to guide us right and have mercy on us all. We really appreciate your presence once again, sir. Can you please give advice to the youth at home, because they are our future?
Yeah, majority of youth nowadays, they used to a very bad nicknames and it doesn't end well. So but they don't know, because the elderly people have already seen what has happened in the environment. So I advise all the youths like myself and others to make sure that we bear good name and good nicknames. Whatever name our parents named us, we need to name ourselves another a good name that will complement
the ones our parents have given us. Thank you very much, sir. We really appreciate your presence once again, and we appreciate you. I have to really appreciate you because I've been using your work, and people at home knows that is what I've been using too. So we really appreciate your presence and giving us that opportunity to use your work.
I appreciate you more because you are my number one fan in this state, and this is my state. So I really appreciate you for doing that. Thank you very much. Thank you, OSBC management.
You're welcome, sir. Yes, let's make conscious effort, like I always say, to be intentional with all what you do and how we behave, especially we that we are Muslims. Yes, may Almighty Allah continue to have mercy on us all. My name is Mariam Owodone. This is where we will be ending today's episode on the Messages Beautiful Jumas. See you next time, same time on the same station. Inshallah. Masalam.
بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم ربنا واجعلنا مسلمين لك